Hey, welcome back to my page. This is Ashley Rants, and I'm Ash. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you feel so inclined. Um, Today, we're going to be ranting about the movie Magazine Dreams. Now, before I get started, I want to be 100% honest with you guys. I am a Jonathan Majors apologist. I feel like he was done dirty in the industry. Sorry, my hands are ashy and it is killing me. I feel like he was done dirty in the industry. I feel like his acting ability, and I don't know if he was where he started in his career, but I first got introduced to him on a miniseries called When We Rise. It's about the LGBTQIA plus community after Stonewall and during them getting their rights or what have you. Um, this is during the time of Harvey Milk and all that jazz. And he played the role of Michael in the movie, and he did that role. Like in every role that I've seen Jonathan Majors play, he is 100% lost in it. I can't see Jonathan Majors the actor. I see the character. Even if it is a bad plot on a movie that he's done, which he seems to pick projects where it's not really bad. Um, so I go up for his career. Plus, I think the man is fine. He's on my list of my fantasy people that if if I ever get the opportunity, everybody has that fantasy list of if you get the opportunity, you're allowed to cheat, even though we know we're not really going to cheat, but you have it as a fantasy. My man got a list too, so don't worry. So, but he's on my list. I think the man is fine. I think the man is an excellent actor. Before all the controversy, I was going up for him. I was like, he's our generation's Denzel. Like after Chadwick passed, I was looking for like an actor of this generation that had range, right? And he is the only one I know who has true range. Like, okay, Lovecraft Country, the man got range. The man is it, right? He is it. I think he is an excellent actor. I feel like with his, and I promise you I'm gonna get to the movie. But I want to add context as to my response to the movie. I feel like with the controversy that he went through with the girlfriend, and and candid with you, I have not listened to the most recent voice recording that was released regarding something to do with choking. So I don't know what that context is. But when I followed the case with the girlfriend, it felt like self-defense to me. And I'm of the class of there's nothing wrong with me defending myself, whether it be male or female. Nobody deserves to just get beat. Everybody deserves to be able to defend themselves, male or female, period. And it seemed like she was attacking him and he was defending himself to get away. And the fact that she got hurt in the process, it seems like she's committing a crime and caused her own injury. But I digress. So that is where that's my mindset regarding him. I feel like he was done dirty. I am sad I'm not going to get to see the Rise of Kang. Because I didn't care for Loki because it's not my judge. And I go up for Marvel movies and TV shows and stuff like that. But Loki was my jam. But uh, Kang he was a highlight of it. It was what drew me back, kept bringing me back. So I'm sad that we're not going to be able to see that come to fruition unless something massive changes. Um, so I want him to win. I want him to get all the awards. I want him to be happy. I am scared as much as I can't resolve in my mind how I go up for him, I support him, and I believe that he's not in the wrong, but I'm also scared for Megan Good in case I am wrong, because I am 20 million degrees separated from Jonathan Majors. I don't know his story. I don't know his life. It's just I also don't do abuse. It is a hard line for me. So I don't want to risk. I don't want Megan Good to be at risk, but she knows the story better than I. So I'm hoping that she's smart and she's not. She knows more than what we know. So that said, this movie, Magazine Dreams, it. I don't know how I felt about it. I was confused the whole movie. I've never gone to a movie theater to see any movie, and I've seen some stinkers, and desperately wanted to walk out at the halfway point. And it's not that the movie was bad, it was just the secondhand embarrassment because it didn't feel like Jonathan Majors was acting because he's such a good actor. It felt like I was just witnessing, and then the story was built to feel as realistic as humanly possible. So it felt like I was witnessing someone's life. And there was so much secondhand embarrassment, so much cringe that went into this movie that I couldn't take it. Like half the movie, I'm sitting in my chair like this, like I can't, because and then there's half the movie. I'm like, he just wants to be loved, and I'm literally stopping myself from crying because I I I'm mean, but I don't like people, but I love people, and I just want people to be happy. And his character was so lonely, and you could see it and you could feel it. And every time you thought that he was going, his character's name was Killian. Every time you thought that Killian was getting a step in the right direction, something, his social awkwardness pushed him back. So without giving away the plot, the whole thing of the movie, it was Killian Maddox is just I don't know what type of, and I really wish they would have talked about this. He clearly has some type of mental disorder, some type of delay, right? There was you can clearly see it. It feels like whatever issues he has an advanced form of it, meaning he is high. He's able to get by, but you can clearly see something. The center is here, and he's here. He's just not quite where he needs to be at. And he is a bodybuilder who's aspiring to become a professional, and he's obsessive about this, to the point where his whole life revolves around bodybuilding and what you have to do to become a bodybuilder. This results in him, and I don't want to say he's autistic, because I feel like saying someone is autistic, that's a throwaway. Everybody's autistic these days. But the way he hyper fixated on bodybuilding, and the way he also doesn't like to be touched. It gives autism. It gives autism. But I'm not going to say he's autistic, because I don't know what the heck was wrong with him. There was something that was, and not to say autism is wrong, but something was not. He had some type of neurodivergent situation, and possibly some other. I think PTSD. I'm 100% certain on PTSD. Something neurodivergent, And there might be some sprinkle of some other stuff in there. Maybe a little bit. I don't know. I don't know. But the fact that, okay, so he's hyper fixated on bodybuilding, and he's doing all the things that needs to be done. And if you know Jonathan Major's body, it be building, right? Because who? And I don't like muscly guys. I usually they're like, ew. But so beyond the bodybuilding, he does have a job. He maintains a job, and he take care of his grandfather, which he calls Papa. Um, Papa was very, he was ex army. They live in the same house because he's ailing in some way, shape, or form. He has to take his medication. He's moving slow. He's at that age. He was in Vietnam. He was like a big guy in Vietnam. So he's at that age where things are starting to slow down for him. He needs somebody to take care of him. He does. Mother and father, Killian's mother and father, they passed away when he was young, and he witnessed their passing. It's alluded to that he witnesses their passing, which is where I think the PTSD comes in at. It was never 100% confirmed, but I think he witnessed it. And then at work, he does a really great job at his job, as a grocery bagger, and he has a little crush on a girl. And after apparently months of him trying to get the nerve to talk to her, he finally he specifically goes grocery shopping on the days that he knows that she works so he can see her. And that's very much giving cute, very much giving crush. I don't care what anybody says. I know these days that's some people will say that's stalkery, but it's giving crush. And then you could tell she was a little awkward as well. I don't want to say she had any disorders. We didn't get to know her long enough. Her name is Jessie. We didn't get to know Jessie long enough to really know if she had any mental disorders or whatever. But it was just a little awkward, and it felt like two awkward people coming together. And just meeting Killian, I don't think immediately you would figure out that there was something off unless you had an extended conversation with him. It just felt like he was awkward and very cute because of it. Because I go up for the awkward guys, right? So he gets the nerve to ask her out, and she agrees, and they go out. Eventually she agrees, and she's very excited and enthusiastic about it because she's feeling like, okay, this might be something. Like, I've been crushing on him, he's been crushing on me, but I didn't know he was into me for real, and he finally let me know, so let's make this happen. Right? So they go out to dinner, and immediately things get off to a weird start. He orders enough food for like 20 people because he's a bodybuilder, and he refuses to diverge from that even for a date. Like, I understand, like, and he doesn't understand interpersonal relationships well. So he ordered, and it's awkward. It's awkward when every time he says, I want this, you think he's done, and then he says, oh, and add this and add that. Oh, and then do that. It was like legit enough food for 15, 20 people. And by then, Jesse's sitting at the table like, I don't even know what's going on anymore. And then that's when we find out that his parent, they're joking about how she told her dad excitedly that they were going on a date, and he's like, I told my dad too, and they laugh about it because it's so cute. He's like, no, I'm just joking about that. They're dead. My dad's dead. She's like, oh, you're so silly. Like, no, they're dead. My dad killed my mom and then killed himself. Oh, I'm gonna put in the description here that there's going to be spoilers because I realize I can't tell this story without giving spoilers. Because I had to say that to say there's no, and then he said it so lightly and so nonchalantly that it was, and I felt so bad for him because he just wants to be loved, but he doesn't know how. And I get that because I feel like at some, I get it to an extent because I feel like growing up, I didn't really have a childhood. I don't feel like. So I didn't really get to, I had no interpersonal skills at all. Don't think I developed any interpersonal skills for real until beyond my family, until I was like 20 something. I was just awkward and weird. And I think that's why I felt so empathetic towards Killian, because I gotta sneeze so bad right now. Sorry. I think that's why I felt so bad for Killian, because I could see that yearning, but then you do other stuff because you're on coke, because that's what bodybuilders do, and that's what your favorite bodybuilder does. And you're on steroids because that's what your bodybuilders do, and that's what your favorite bodybuilder does. You're trying to emulate them to get their exact body, which your build is not meant to be other people's bodies. It's just you can only go so far, right? And he was built to capacity. I don't, perfection to me, like chef's kiss. But the other ones that were getting like first place and stuff, to me they went too far. But also, I'm not of the world of bodybuilding. That's not my jam. That's not my ministry. So he's having these, he's first off, he's getting medical issues. He has tumors on his liver as a result of the steroid use. He is having rage. He's going in full on rage moments. He busts up a store because they disrespected his grandfather by not painting his house right. So he went and vandalized the store. Then those people came beat him up, and then he, while beat up, looked like his arm is broke. He still goes and does the immediately, like bloody, goes and does a bodybuilding competition. Everybody's looking at him like, are you freaking crazy? Are you okay? Let's get you a doctor. Mind you, he has these tumors in his liver that causes such severe pain sometimes that he can't, he like passes out. And he has some growths in his brain as well, as a result, again, of the, it's a spiral. It's a spiral. I feel like he would have been okay if he, I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to avoid giving out the like major progression of what happens in this, because what I haven't touched on any real significant moments within the movie. I've touched on things that happen in his life, like everyday situations that would happen in some people's life, period. I haven't touched on the hard stuff in the movie. But the movie was, acting was excellent. The only character you really got to know was Killian. His person, he is, I guess, the second most, I guess the second person on the call sheet would have been the guy who played his idol, which was Brad something. I can't remember his last name. I apologize. And with Brad, he was like the guy. He's on Men's Health magazines and other bodybuilder magazines and in movies and TV and stuff like that, as the bodybuilder to be. So, and he aspires to him, and we find Killian in a way to connect with someone consistently writing Brad, and like it's very much giving Eminem and Stan. Like, I'm writing you this letter. I know you're busy, but I check my mail every day. Why are you not checking your mail? I don't understand that. Or this is my number, so just feel free to call me anytime. If writing letters is not your thing, you can just call me. I'm here. Oh, and the date with Jesse didn't go. Like, he's using Brad, these correspondence with Brad, where he said he sent so many letters. He's not getting any responses, but he is using him as a diary, essentially, right? He doesn't respond. So he starts to spiral even further because he feels like, and he says it at one point, Brad is my best friend. But your best friend don't know you. You're delusional, my guy. And so I volley back and forth from, I feel so much sympathy for you and my heart goes out to you and I want so much good for you, to what the hell is wrong with you? Like, you need help. And he's already going to therapist. First scene, I think, was the first scene. He's at a therapist's office. But he's not being honest with the therapist. I don't, and we never find out why. He doesn't look like the type of person who would choose to go to therapy. It feels like it was court mandated, but we don't find out why he's there. Like, if you chose to go there, why are you not being honest? If it's court mandated, why was it court mandated? Let me know what's happening. I don't understand. The person I connected with the most in the movie was the grandfather, and not in the way that you would assume that you would connect with the character. Killian made some choices in the movie where, mind you, he is his grandfather's caregiver. And in my mind, if I am someone's caregiver, maybe not all my decisions that I make in my life, it's going to be centered around what can I do, make sure that the person I'm taking care of is being taken care of. But a lot of the decisions, I will make sure I don't do anything that compromises the care that they will receive, because I know outside of me, there's nobody else. I felt for the grandfather a lot of times because we were watching, even when the grandfather's not on screen, we're watching Killian make decisions that could immediately compromise the life and well-being of the one person you say you love, the one person who you know loves you. We're watching this happen, and it begs every time he would make a move and do something, my first question would be like, and we were literally the only people in the movie theater, which is sad because it's opening weekend and that's never happened to me. So I'm able to just talk like I normally talk. And I'm like, if you do that, who's going to take care of your granddaddy? He can barely walk from one room to another. Who's going to help bathe him? Who's going to help feed him? You're literally spoon feeding him, which tells me that he doesn't have the strength enough to feed himself. How is he going to get groceries? How is he going to get food if you don't work? Like, you're not making right decisions for your life or his life. So I felt very empathetic towards the grandfather, because at no point does Killian tell him the moves that he's even making. So it's like he's going to get blindsided when there's like I don't know if he owns the house or whatever, but there's like a foreclosure notice on the house, or all of a sudden the lights get turned off because of the decisions that he's making. Now I'm sitting there and I'm watching the movie. I'm very empathetic. I'm very like literally about to cry. Like, I keep saying he just wants to be loved. He just wants somebody to love him. He just really needs somebody and something to help let him know that he's a person. I'm like, and my fiance sitting next to me. He's like, he's doing all this shit to himself. he's not that good of a person. I'm like, no, but don't you just feel the hurt as he's Googling, how do you make people like you? And stuff like that. People don't just Google that. He's hurt. And then my fiance makes a valid point. He asked me, do I feel sympathy for Kanye West? Because he's exhibiting the same behaviors. And I'm like, what's happening here? My brain broke because I'm like, wait, if I knew Kanye West personally, would I be sympathetic towards him? But I don't think so. I don't know. But I couldn't combat what he said with any, because it was like, not Kanye West now, but when he first started spiraling, and I was like, I don't fool up. That's the behaviors that Killian was exhibiting. And I'm like, and I feel like in the movie felt like it was built to have you question. Maybe it was a good movie. I feel like the movie did what it was supposed to do. I walked away like, what the heck did I just watch? I felt like I watched somebody's actual life. It felt like it was not a movie. It felt like I was following somebody and I was a voyeur in Killian Maddox's real life. Things were too real at some points. Way too real. The brokenness in his voice. When I tell you Jonathan Majors can act down, he can act down. I want him to get awards for this movie, but I don't want this movie to get awards. Because it was a good movie, but it was a bad movie. Like, I can't explain it no other way. I can't say I will never watch it again. I can say that. I will never watch this movie again. But I can't say the script was where it needed to be at. It had people flowing in and out. Like, in your everyday life, you encounter sometimes important interactions, but you never see that person again. That flowed well. It's the trauma that you get into. The end of the movie, and I'm struggling not to say what happens at the end of the movie, but the end of the movie was so, as much as I wanted this movie to end, the way it ended, I needed more, because I needed to know if he came out on top, if he got his stuff together, or if he spiraled even further. It felt like he might have had a breakthrough. It felt like that, but I don't know. And I want to know. The nosy person in my soul wants to know what the heck was happening here. I don't know. And I will be candid with you guys, because I first heard about this movie 2022, and it was supposed to come out in 23, I think. And then that's when the scandal happened, or maybe the scandal happened in 24. I don't know. I think it was supposed to come out in 23, and then the scandal happened, so it got pushed, and it was withdrawn completely at one point, and I didn't think it was going to come out at all, and then it got announced under Zeus to come out. So I heard about this movie back in 22, we'll say, and I'm like, oh, this movie seems interesting. I'm going to watch it. I'm definitely going to go see it, because he is a box office draw for me. If I see his name attached, it's just automatic for me. I'm going to go see it. But since like 2022, I knew about the status of the movie, but I forgot completely. I knew it had something to do with bodybuilding, but I had forgot completely what the movie was about. I've never seen a preview for the movie. I did not, usually I like do a lot of research before I watch a movie. Did not do any of that, because it was automatic. It's Jonathan Majors. I'm going to go ahead and go see this movie. I did not know what I was walking into. I did not know. And maybe had I known, my reaction would have been a lot better. But I walked into this movie like, I don't understand what's happening. I'm like, I literally asked, is this movie going to make me cry? I don't want to cry. I feel like this movie was built for movie buffs and award fodder. Everything was done excellently, but the cringe factor in the movie the secondhand embarrassment that the watcher gets in the movie, it's so strong that I almost walked out of the movie. In order to get me to stay, I Googled how does this movie end, and I couldn't figure out how we got to the ending that I read about, which apparently I read the wrong article because it was wrong. That's not how the movie ended. Uh, but I was like, okay, well, I can't connect the two chain links to make it a full chain because I don't know how you get from point A to point B. It doesn't make sense. So that's what made me stay. The fact that I tried to spoil the movie for myself, which I know normally spoiling movies does not do anything, and me trying to put in my brain how they got from where we were at to where we were going to end up. I will say this, Brad, he ain't ish. He ain't ish. They did shout out the town that I grew up in. I don't claim it, but they shouted out Dayton, Ohio. Yeah. I wouldn't recommend going to go see the movie. I go get a ticket to support and show that we show support for Jonathan Majors. If you do in fact support Jonathan Majors, because again, I'm of the class of a allegation does not make a criminal, and watching the trial and reading about the trial, it didn't feel like he was supposed to be convicted. So if you support him, I would 100% say buy a ticket. But I would also 100% say don't go to the movies to see this. Just buy the ticket. Just buy the ticket and go for a walk. We don't see enough nature. It's starting to warm up. Go for a walk. Buy the ticket and go for a walk. It's not. And also, I will say this: I don't do well with secondhand embarrassment because I've had firsthand embarrassment. That was my whole life. I was not a cool person. I am not a cool person. I am a nerd to the utmost. And not the fun nerd. I am the trip over my feet nerd. I am the Screech Powers. I am Steve Urkel trying to be Stefan, but delusional about being Stefan, but I'm still Steve. Um, so I know firsthand embarrassment. So when get secondhand embarrassment, and then I can't do anything about it. If I see somebody in real life and I have secondhand embarrassment for them, and I have the ability to, I'm going to try to rescue you. And the fact that I can't go through the movie screen and rescue you, it just was not happening for me. So buy the ticket, support Jonathan Majors' career, and let people know that yeah, he still is a box office draw because Creed was everything, Lovecraft Country, everything, and people are still mad that they ain't get a second season. Don't play with me. um when We Rise, when I first watched When We Rise, I thought it was amazing. I thought it was an amazing piece of art. I watched it again. Jonathan Major Jonathan Majors was everything in there, and then the certain actors was everything in that movie. Um, but in that miniseries, but it was not what it needs to be. Um, I he to me is excellent, and until proven otherwise, I'm gonna be a Jonathan Majors apologist. I just don't see. I don't want anybody else to be subjected to this movie. Not because it was a bad movie, but not because it was a good movie. Just because it was just it was too much, and I did not feel any resolve in it. And I can't even say it was A+ movie or a F movie. I can't. There's no rating system for this movie. There's no way to rate this. I don't. So yeah, that's my rant. That's my review. That's how I feel about this. It's giving stressed. That's what the movie is giving. Stress. That's so it from beginning to end, it felt like I walked away and I needed a drink. Because my life is already stressful. I don't need to watch somebody else's stress life and then not know if they got out of the stress. I got no conclusion. Okay, now I'm getting angry because I already don't like the endings to movies. I love watching movies, hate the endings because I never wanted to end. But this was just a bad ending. It's like they got to a page and they just stopped writing. And I'm like, is that what we want to do? Really? Is that the choice we want to make? I don't think so. Buy a ticket, go do something else during that time. Don't go see the movie. Don't go see the movie, but support his career. Also, what's the girl's name? I don't want to mess up her name. I won't mess up her name. She's only in like one scene, and I was surprised that they got. I can't remember the girl's name, but it had a couple names in the movie, but mainly it didn't. So I was so excited for this movie. I was very excited. And I did walk away saying, okay, babe, just know the next Jonathan Majors movie, we're just going to go see. I don't care what it is, unless it's Star Wars or Star Trek. I don't do those. I refuse. I have a hard line. Or Pirates of the Caribbean. Okay, hard line on those three movies. But I'm willing to see pretty much anything else, unless it's Tyler Perry. Okay, I have a hard line on a couple movies, but I'm pretty much 100% supporting him in whatever he does. So thank you so much for sticking with me. This has been Ashley Rants, and I'm Ash once again. Please, if you did see the movie, please comment and let me know what you thought about it, because I'm still confused. I did this whole 37-minute video, and I'm still confused about how I felt about the same movie. Am I trying to come up with excuses for it? Was it a good movie and I'm not advanced enough to know that it's a good movie? Or was it a bad movie and I'm just trying to come up with excuses because it's Jonathan Majors? Am I biased? Or are you guys just as confused as I am? I don't know. Please like, comment, subscribe. Please comment if you've seen this movie, or if you're planning on going to go see this movie, or if you're just going to buy a ticket and just go take a walk. Let me know, because I'm curious how. I want to know other people's thoughts on this, because it's baffling my mind. I don't know what to do. I don't know what the next movie I'm gonna go see is, but I'll probably do another review on a movie, and as long as it's not as confusing as this one, it'll be more concise. It'd be like more of a black and white. I've never been this conflicted about a movie before, and had I watched it at home, I would have turned it off. But I was at the movie theater. I've never walked out of a movie before, and I didn't want to. I was going to, but I didn't want to. All right, y'all. Again, like, comment, subscribe. I'm Ash with Ashley's Rants, and I thank you for sticking with me on this. You have a blessed day, and I'll see you guys soon.